Hello and welcome to your new Property Funnels account. I'm going to just take you through how to log in and what everything means inside the account. So, first step is to use the email address that we gave you to sign up with. This one's just a demo account, so I'm going to use a demo address. So this would normally be your own business address. So just take out the space there and then insert your password. And then click sign in. Okay, so when you log in, you're going to be confronted with the dashboard. Normally you'll have 0 opportunities here and you'll have no pipeline value, no conversion rates. So we'll go over what these aspects mean, but essentially they relate to the campaigns that we want to measure. This is by no means the only number of opportunities that you've got, but these are the ones that we are measuring using the forms as well as using the opportunities tab on the left-hand side here. Just go through the dashboard quickly so you can see what you get. You'll start off with a number of pre-built funnel campaigns. So these are the opportunities that we're making. As you'll see, there are a number already. There's a buyer pre-qualification, a deal tracker with whichever property from Property24 or one of the portals you'd like to start measuring, a home list if you've got a list of homes, P24 leads. This will record all your P24 leads when you link up P24 or any other portal, and then the evaluation of a pipeline, which is normally the campaign that you would be starting with when you sign up. So this is a funnel view of the number of leads in your funnel, and then this is the pie graph in terms of which stage they're in. Manual actions, don't be concerned about this too much. This is more for like if you're running a call center, and then this is where you would find your tasks assigned to whichever users. So all users will be here, or the demo man is the account name that I've given this demo person. You'll see pending as well as completed, or due dates if you'd like to do it in ascending or descending order. Your lead source reports, you'll get to see where your sources are coming from in terms of your leads. So it's either a buyer survey, credit checks, your valuation campaigns, P24, all of those that we're measuring. When you link up your Google account, if you've got a Google My Business listing, this will be connected to your account and you'll be able to manage and view your reviews as well as your rating and growth in your reviews and ratings straight from your dashboard. This relates to your reviews, so sentiment, an invites goal and a leaderboard invites. I'll show you how that works in a second too. So let's go through it. Right at the top, we've got Property Funnels Learning. So I encourage you to go through the YouTube tutorials. There are a number already, and to join the private Facebook group. So you can go click on any one of those buttons. We're in the dashboard right now. Let's go through this. So conversations, this is where your full conversation history will live between you as a user or the admin of this account, as well as your users or your agents, who will only be able to see their conversations as it relates to them and their leads. So we can restrict access if you'd like, or open access if you don't want anyone to not see the messages. So right now there's nothing in here, but as this starts to grow, you'll be able to get more conversation history in this panel. Opportunities, as I mentioned, this is where we build campaigns that we're trying to measure. So each campaign has got a start and a finish goal. So in the case of a valuation campaign, let's go maybe through evaluation and look at the stages, because that's more than likely where you will be starting. So let me go down the down arrow here. You'll be able to find all your campaigns this side in this drop down menu, and it's sort of show you the pipeline stages that we want to measure. So let's just give it a second for loading. Here's also a filter on it. So you can take out if you can't see the opportunities, if you want to go further back, or if you'd like to filter specific dates, you can do that here too. Okay, so as you can see, we've got pipeline stages, new leads, hot leads, booking request, booking confirmed, showed up, and services sold. So in the context of a valuation campaign, everyone that the form on the first page of the landing page will end up here. So all their names and their contact details, as well as how they relate with their source information, will come to the new lead side. They only become a hot lead if they respond to any of those emails or SMSs that will be sent to them in the nurture sequences. and you will be notified when they have a hot lead. So this is normally somebody that's asking you a question. It could be relating to your commission that you charge or how the process works or any other comment that you need to attend to. They can skip the hot lead stage and go straight to a booking request if they book in the calendar. So your second page of your landing page in the valuation campaign, the second landing page will be a calendar page where they can book an appointment with you to value their property, or if it's the case of a pre-qualification or a buyer's campaign, that would normally be a showing or a viewing. Okay, so once you've confirmed that the booking request works for you, you would click confirm and their card would jump to booking confirmed. So this is automated as part of the process so that we don't have to update these cards manually, though you can come and click and drag these cards. So when you've signed up and we've got our onboarding session, you'll see how the cards move. So I hope you're looking forward to that. So showed up is when somebody actually shows up for the appointment. If they do not show up, we mark them as no-shows and they get pushed back into a middle of the road nurture sequence, which tries to push them back to a booking requested status. So I'll show you how that works in our onboarding. And then obviously, if you sign the person up, you can move them over to services sold, and that would be part of your brand value that you'd start to generate in your pipeline. Other pipelines that we've got are, as I mentioned, the buyer pre-qualification. So let's have a look at what that does. So this one is slightly different. We've still got our new leads. So what happens in this pre-qualification pipeline is normally we would connect this to your portal. So when a portal lead comes in, the email that they will get is to either book in your calendar or to complete a pre-qualification to improve their chances of getting finance. Should they complete the first step in the funnel of the pre-qualification, they land here. So they've been telling you basically what their wish list looks like. So that would be bedrooms, bathrooms, suburbs, price, as well as when they want to buy. Again, if they respond on that email, they'll jump here. And as you can see, there's already a lead in here. That's a demo lead that's completed the credit consent. So in order to actually draw up a credit report and to take them through the pre-qualification process and to help your bond originator get the details that they need to complete the PCR, your lead has to complete the second part of the pre-qualification. And so when they've completed this, their full wish list, as well as their ID and their FICA and all the documents that they submit on the survey that we create, will go straight to you as well as to your bond originator of choice. And that is completely automated also. And then feedback is once you've actually either approved or perhaps they haven't qualified, you can push them into feedback, and based on whatever the feedback is, whether they've been approved or not, we can build up the funnel further. So that just shows you a quick overview of these pipeline stages in your opportunities that you get when you sign up. So let's go through a little bit more. If you go into marketing tab, you'll see there's a whole range of buttons here. What we want to focus on today is the campaign. So this is where you will build out your campaign. Now, a campaign can be an SMS campaign, it can be an email campaign, it can be a messenger campaign, and you can also have various steps within the campaigns. So here's what you get when you sign up. 22 weeks of emails are here for you already. So if I click into this, you'll see there are already 22 weeks worth of emails. It's gray, which means it's not active right now. So it's in draft mode. So in order for campaigns to send, we need to make them published. And we do that up here. So we'll change it from draft to published. And now your campaigns are ready to send. But before we go there, we do need to configure the campaign to make sure that we know who it's going from. So in this campaign, we'll just quickly have a look at these settings so you can understand them. The users relate to the people inside the account, if it's just you or if it's you as well as your agents. So who are the users in this account? There'll just be one user. So if I select Demo Man, all emails will come from him and will reflect his name and his email signature, as well as his personal details, if it's his cell phone number and email address, a link to his calendar when these links are provided inside the email. So let's select Demo Man as the sender. Next, campaign relates when the campaign is completed. Where do you want them to go? So if you've got other campaigns built out, you can select where you'd like people to go next. So even if it's a once-off email, or if it's a series of emails or SMSs, they can be pushed into any one of these further campaigns. So normally, 22 weeks of emails is after a valuation campaign or a pre-qualification campaign. So especially after you've generated all your cold leads, you want to keep them warm, so we normally push them into 22 weeks of nurture. The from address and the from name and email address is basically if you'd like it to come from the company and the individual. So I can take this out and I can actually say our merge tags, which makes it easier. You can actually have, you can write a name and write an email physically in here. But if you want to use the custom value merge tags, you can just say location.name. So that will be the name of your business or your account as it's stated. And then location.email will be the email address. For example, info@company.co.za. You can add a tag should you want to. You can say stop on response, but that would mean that if you're trying to keep people engaged over a long period of time, or in the case of an appointment campaign, you'd want to uncheck stop on response. So what that would basically mean, if you unselect stop on response, if they respond and say thanks so much for the email, very informative, or I can't wait to meet you, I'm looking forward to it, the campaign would continue to go on. But if this was checked on and they responded to you, the entire campaign would stop there. So they wouldn't get the follow-up emails. So in the case of a nurture campaign where you're trying to keep them over a long period of time, the only option you want to give them is to unsubscribe. Or in the case of an appointment reminder campaign, you don't want it to stop because they still need to get those appointment reminders from you up until the day and the hour of that appointment. So as you can see, here's the location.name and location.email as our custom values. So these relate to the account email and the account name. You can also do an event start time and date. For example, if it's a webinar or if it's an event, you can relate all of the information in the emails to this event start date and time. So as your time starts to go down, because an event is a countdown, you would have your, instead of having a send after, you would have a send before, because relating it to the event start time and date. But we're not going to do that. So these are going to be in sequential order, 1 week after 1 week after 1 week. So when you want to write an email, you can simply come to edit and write. Or if you want to create a new email, you can come here and you can say add an event. And you'll get the option to choose. You can choose to select an email. You can choose to select SMS if you've got SMS enabled in your account. A messenger. This is normally for, because remember, your Facebook account is connected to Property Funnels. So people who respond on Messenger to a job application or maybe an article that you've shared or a property that you're advertising, their contact details and that message will be put directly inside your Property Funnels account, and you can have a messenger campaign that relates to that specific trigger. If you're doing calls and voicemail, those manual calls out of the system, then you can do that from here, or you can have wait steps webhooks, which are hugely valuable for sharing and transferring data between different applications, as well as in adding a task. So maybe in the middle of a campaign, if the person has not responded yet, add a task to the user assigned to that lead and say follow up with David to make sure that he still, gets the emails, or he is still coming, or he is still interested in the offer. So out here now, I'm going to cancel these. Bulk requests relate to the campaigns. So once you've built out a campaign, if you want to send a bulk request, which basically means a bulk send, you can simply come in here and click on a bulk request, give it a name, select the campaign once it's published, remember. So write your campaign out first, then publish it, because otherwise it won't send. So here you can select which campaign you'd like to send out. You can select the date and time that you'd like the campaign to go out, who it should run for, select all. If you'd only like it to run for specific people with specific tags, choose the tag. So you might actually create a tag contact list. There'll be a few tags already pre-created for you, even though you've got no leads right now. And once you're happy, you can click add. So I'm going to just run you through and then I'll show you what happens while I pause. Okay, so I've created a test bulk campaign, and you can see my tag is one with the tag of Property24. It will be scheduled at this time and date, and the status is new. So what I can come and do here is, in order for this to actually send, it's not good enough to just create it here. You have to push the play button. So now it's queued to go out on the 14th of January at 7:55 p.m. At any time you want to, you can come and pause it should you want to make more changes to that email, or you can add the name as well as a few of the details. If you'd like to, you can simply delete the campaign. And then it's gone. Trigger links. We'll do some training around trigger links, but what you have to know here is an unsubscribe link, for example. If you select an unsubscribe trigger link, you put this into your SMSs and your emails, and there's an action when someone clicks on a specific trigger link, which is what you would create maybe for your unsubscribe. So right now it's just set to Google when people click the unsubscribe link. But normally we would create a funnel page that says, sorry to see you go, or your unsubscription has been confirmed. And when they click on that link, they are set to do not disturb, which means they cannot receive any more marketing emails from your company. If you'd like to unsubscribe them, you can set them as unsubscribes straight away, but normally just setting them as a do not disturb is pretty good, and you can still keep the details in your database should you want to, especially if they want to come back later. Form builder, we'll have some training around how to build a form. This is where your forms are built, as well as you can analyze which ones are performing better, as well as the actual submissions on the forms. So as you get your account, you'll have a number of forms. This is the valuation booking form. If I want to go and see how many submissions I've had, I can filter by form, and I can download the details. I can download in one of two ways. So let's just see if there's any. I don't think there'll be any data in here, but I might be wrong. No records found. Fine. So you can filter by form. If you'd like to download, on the right hand side here, you will have three little dots, and you can download a PDF of the details, or you can simply click on the select all or select the form that you want to download, and it'll come out as a CSV. Survey builder is very much the same as a form, except that you can ask far better questions, and you can actually use this application form. So we do a pre-qualification form using surveys. We also use surveys to do rental applications, credit check authorizations, COVID compliance. There's for a dual application. There's a feedback funnel for Property24, and rental application and tenant referral surveys too. Again, same thing applies. You can click on submissions to see what the submissions have been. I think there might even be one in here, so it'll be nice to show you. Okay, not even one, so I can't show you anything. Sorry about that. SMS and email templates. We're getting a far better builder. Right now, our HTML builders are not fantastic, so just hang 10, and by Q1 2021, we're going to have a really awesome email template builder. So right now, we're using plain text as the go-to, and to be honest, I prefer the plain text. Reporting. This is if you're running any Facebook or Google ads. You can also see appointment reports, how many appointments are being kept and lost and by whom, and then call reporting if you're using it from the call center perspective. Scheduling is where you'll find your calendar, and I'll show you how we set up calendars in a minute. And the appointments is an overview of which appointments are coming up. So you can choose the calendar and you can look at it from a calendar view, or you can just get the appointment details there. Reputation, as I mentioned earlier on the dashboard, you would request a review from people and you would get your review requests here. Bear in mind they need to be inside your contacts list in order to do that. But you can manage your reviews from inside either one of these buttons. Click on reviews and you'll see your reviews. Right now this account will have none. So this would connect your Facebook reviews as well as your Google reviews. Okay, so you can see there are 0 reviews in this account because nothing's been connected yet. Contact list. So people often think, how do I bring my contacts in? So in Property Funnels, it's very, very simple. This is your main database. So all your contacts will live here and you can actually separate them by tag. You can separate them by activity. You can separate them by the questions that they've answered on your forms, or you can simply separate them by whatever, any custom field that you'd like to fill out. So right now there's 2 leads inside this contact form. Let me just take you through this. So you can add a contact by clicking there. You can change the pipeline stage. Remember, pipelines are inside your opportunities. Those pipeline stages are a hot lead, a new lead, booking request, or whatever it might be. So you can change the pipeline stage in bulk by just selecting all the names and going to change pipeline stage. This is adding people to a campaign. So a lot easier to add them to campaigns as opposed to going to the marketing and the bulk requests, which you remember was this. But the only problem that I've got right now with adding people to a campaign directly here is that you don't get the really great deep data in terms of who's opening and who's responding specifically to the campaigns and who's clicking on which links. So this is why I still prefer the bulk requests, but this allows you to do drips as well as to send all at once. That's sending an SMS or sending an email straight from the system. So you don't have to go in and create a campaign inside the marketing module. You can do that straight from here. But again, I prefer to do a campaign and a bulk request because of the data that you get. Yeah, you can add a tag to your leads. You can remove tags. You can delete contacts. You can export contacts, or you can export specific contacts that you might like to by filtering them here. So you might want to filter by tag. So you would click on hide filters or add filters, and you would click on, for example, tag. And maybe you only want to select people with a specific tag. And then what will come up is the tag list. So whatever tags you've created. So click on tag. And right now, these are the options that you've got. So if there's a tag, if anyone has a specific tag, or it's empty, or it is, and then you can select tags, or is not, and then select specific tags if you're trying to minimize or reduce people. Okay, so you can hide your filters there. And then again, if you've got a CSV file, there is training on how to upload a contact list, and that is contained in the Facebook page. So go ahead and join the Facebook group and go and look there. There's a quick how-to on how to actually add people to your contacts database. Okay. Don't worry about these too much. So your manual actions and your contact request will be when you start to send people campaigns from inside the contact list. Funnels. So your funnels are where all the landing pages live. So when you get your account, you'll have a number of funnels already built for you. Remember, these are templated, so you would still need to go in and build. I'm going to have some training on how to build landing pages, but normally when you would sign up, you will get a valuation campaign already built out for your company that looks and feels more like your brand. Let me just show you a quick buy prequel. So you can click in here and you can actually view the pages. Let's wait for it to load up. A few things that you need to do in order to connect this to an actual website. So you would need to add a domain. If there's no domain added yet, it's because we're just waiting to create a subdomain. But normally by the time you get to this video, you're going to have a domain already set, and it will normally be the Property Funnels domain as a holding domain until such time as you've got your DNS provider to give you to connect the Property Funnels DNS to your domain. So you would come into settings and you would have a domain selection there. This account has none, so you would give it a name and a path. You can add the favicon URL there for your company, and then you can just check the steps. So you can see steps in this funnel. So go ahead and click out to see what preview would look like. Okay, so you can see there's already this is the survey. So as I mentioned earlier, this would allow you to do more of an application, but it would be your company logo, your colors. You can put other photos in these blocks, but let's just show you quickly what it does. So people select they're either first or second time buyer. If they say first time buyer, they get this question. If they say a second time buyer, a seasoned buyer, here's your opportunity to actually get another lead. So you could, if they select sales or rent it out, this would enable you to say, well, I can do sales too, or we have a way to manage your property too. So they would select one of those. And again, when you're looking to buy, and so on. You can go through these funnel steps and these funnels in your own time. So remember, forms live on funnel pages, as well as surveys live on funnel pages. This is what you would use to collect leads. Triggers. So this is what makes things happen inside your Property Funnels account. So a trigger is essentially just an action an action creating an event, or the other way around, an event creating an action. So we create triggers, and the green ones are the ones that are currently active. You'll see these ones are active triggers if I go in the down arrow here. So there's active triggers. Let me check some things over here. This one's an inactive trigger. So you'll see there are a couple in here already. This is your valuation of a campaign. These are the triggers that relate to that campaign. As you can see, there's a number of triggers that relate to when forms are filled in, when there's no booking, there is a booking request, when you confirm the appointment, when they show up, as well as when they reply to one of the campaigns. So let me show you what happens in the architecture when someone fills in a form from your landing page. So as you can see, the rule here is you get two kinds of rules. You get the ones that are in Property Funnels and you get the ones that are Facebook. So if you click here, you'll get Facebook, and this is if you're running lead forms on Facebook, and Property Funnels is if it's a form in Property Funnels. So the trigger here would be a form fill in. So let's just run you through that quickly. So when a form is submitted, you would now need to select which form. So the form is, and you've got a number already. So we're going to choose the valuation booking form. So whenever someone fills in the valuation booking form, what do we want them to happen? So we can do a couple things at the same time without having to do them individually. So we want them to be added to the campaign, which is already published. So this is the nurture campaign to get them to book a viewing or to book a calendar appointment with you. We want to add and update the opportunity. Remember the opportunities here in the pipeline stages. So they're going to enter the valuation of a pipeline. They start at new leads, and we would just capture their contact name on the card. So you'll be able to see their contact name. You can choose contact source or the form name or any other sort of source that you'd like to track. And then what we do is we send an email to you. So I will send an email to you as the new lead owner of this brand new lead, giving you some information on what has happened, as well as who the person is and where they've come from. We can add more actions. Let me just show you some of these actions too. So we can add a tag. Maybe you want to add a tag to these guys to start tracking them. You can add a task to phone them. You can add to Google AdWords and Analytics. You can add a note assigned to a different user, so maybe not you. There's the webhook if you want to bring data out. You can again remove the assigned user and remove a contact tag, remove campaigns, send an email, a notification, an SMS. There's the do not disturb. So on the unsubscribe, I'll show you what that looks like. And if you're running Stripe or any other payments, apply it there. I'm not going to do anything there. I'm going to show you quickly what the trigger for the unsubscribe looks like so that you understand how the trigger link works. So we come out of this trigger and go to the unsubscribe triggers. All right, so the unsubscribe trigger is inactive. This is what we would place on an SMS or an email. So let's show you what it does. So an unsubscribe trigger is activated by a trigger link. Remember in marketing, the trigger links, and the one was called unsubscribe, and it was redirecting. When a person clicked on it, it would redirect a person to Google. So normally we would redirect to the funnel page. So if you went to your funnel page in funnels, you could redirect them to the unsubscribe funnel. So a trigger link, what happens? So we choose what the rule is. So the event is when a trigger link is clicked. You will actually, to start off with, maybe only have one trigger link. That will be the unsubscribe. So this is already set up for you. What you want it to do when someone clicks on that button or that link, set the contact DND, do not disturb, and enable. So you can either enable or disable. You might also want to add an action here or a task for a person to contact the person back and say, are you sure? Hey, before you go, maybe you'd like to take advantage of some sort of offer or service. I don't know, that's up to you. But yeah, then what you would do, all triggers need to be active. So the same as campaigns, they need to be published. A trigger needs to be active. If you make any changes, you'd have to click save and make sure it's active. So let's go out of the trigger over here now. Again, going down, if you're running, if you're looking for annotations and any sort of indexing services, we would run that here, but that is not part and parcel of your Property Funnels account to start off with. This is an extra service offering that we provide. Click on WhatsApp David now if you've got any questions. This will open up the WhatsApp if you've got it on your computer. If you don't, download it. And if you also get stuck, you can click on the chat feature here, which goes back to me. So you'll put your name and your mobile and your email, and the message is the thing that you're struggling with. So very easy to reach support. You can close there, and I would say go get a cup of coffee, and we're going to go through the settings now too. Okay, so here's what happens inside the settings page. So just below WhatsApp David now, this is where your company information lives. This is where you will add team members. This is where you will integrate your account with Google or Facebook. And this is where you will set up and edit your calendars. So to take you through quickly, the profile will be you, basically. So you can see the account information here. Admins will see this. You can have outgoing email signatures, or whatever you'd like to add here. Change passwords. Company information goes here. So you can put some company information in there in terms of a logo. If you need to change an address or an email address or a phone number, anything like that, you would do that in the company settings. So you put your logo here. You can change your address, the company name. Remember when we sent out those emails and we said location.name, the curly brackets location.name, this is what would be displayed. And if you have a company email address, for example, info@agency.co.za, that would be curly brackets location.email. The phone number of the company, the website, here's your API key for Zapier. So if you ever need to find the API key for your account, you go to company, scroll down, have this API key if you want to connect if you want to connect your account to Zapier. And there's your company address, time zone. This is relevant because you don't want to, normally this would be set up for you anyway, but go ahead and have a look at, make sure that it is on the correct time zone. Otherwise, your appointments and your leads appointments are going to be thrown off by a couple of hours sometimes. Okay, team management. So this is where you will add and remove team members. So you can see there's one team member. This is the demo member. So here's how you set up a person inside your company. So you'll click on Add Employee. Okay, so this is where you'll add people's information. So what you'd do first is you'd click on the user info. And here's where you'll enter the first, last name, their email, and their phone number. You can actually personalize it by putting their photo in this box. Or you could do it yourself. You could come in and edit your own profile here. This is where you can set up their password, or you can change your password here. An email signature on all outgoing messages. So you would put your email signature in this box. If you want to have a specific calendar assigned to a specific user, you can do that there. So depending on which calendar it is, you can assign it there. The user permissions are basically what they can and can't see. So as the admin, you'll normally be able to see and do all of these things. If you're setting up a user, so you maybe don't want agents to be able to see each other's leads, all you're going to do is you're going to click on Only Assign Data, and it's going to tell you this is going to restrict access. Are you sure? So you'd say yes. And so this person will only be able to see the leads and the data that's assigned to them. You can change, for example, you might want them to be able to see campaigns, but only have a read-only function so that they can't edit the campaign. You might not want them to see the reviews or funnels or any of those extra features. And then you would select the role. So is this person a user or is it an admin user? So you would normally be starting as an admin if you're the owner of this account, but you can add employees as users. So let's make this person a user. Don't worry about this too much. User availability will relate to their calendar once they integrate their Google account, and then their calendar configuration in terms of how available they are to watch. Then you would click save, obviously, not cancel. Okay, so once you've added your team members, you can create a team. So this may or may not apply to your company, but sometimes you can create teams. You might want to actually have a team calendar. So it's very easy to just go and add a team and select the members that you want to be part of that team. You can give that team a name and a description. For example, it might be the whole company, or it might be one of your high performance teams. You choose how you'd like to do that, and then that would relate to calendars later. Email and SMS. This relates to your review settings. So this is the email that will go out. Just give it a second to load. There we go. So this is the email that will go out when you click on request a review and you select the email. And come in here and link this to either your review page or URL for Facebook or your review me on Google My Business. So you can edit any of this information here, and you can see it'll come from whoever the person is. It'll have your logo once your company has a logo, and just click on save. Same for SMS. If you have SMS, review widgets, I wouldn't stress about this too much, nor the appointments, pipelines. So this is where the opportunity pipelines are built. So do you remember the opportunity stages on the valuation campaign, new lead, hot lead, booking request? This is where we build it. So you can come down here, click on the pencil, or create a new pipeline, and then you would add stages. You can choose to hide or show these actions on your dashboard. But if you don't want to measure certain things on the dashboard, you would just unselect the funnel and the pie chart. So if you want to move the new leads down, it's as simple as clicking them down. Add a stage. Okay. So we can create a new pipeline here, whatever you want to measure, and do the same things that I just showed you. Integrations. So when you sign up the email that you would get will tell you to come and integrate your account. So come and connect your account to Google and Facebook as a matter of necessity. So you would click on connect, and it would normally pick out your Google address, and you would select that. And once that's connected, you can actually then go to the next step of connecting Facebook if you're the account holder on Facebook, and choose the page you'd like to associate it with. That means that your calendar will be linked, as well as your Google My Business if you've got it. A button or a little panel will open up here for Google My Business. So go ahead and choose the correct Google My Business profile. And Facebook also, once the page is connected, all leads that come in from Facebook Messenger will be added to your contacts list over there. All right, phone numbers. This is if you're running with SMS, and calendars. So the calendar builder, if you're a team, remember when I said if you've got a high performance team or an entire company, you'll be able to choose a calendar here, which is a team calendar. But when you sign up, normally you'll have an unassigned calendar. So it's assigned to just about everybody. And here's the URL for this calendar and the P24 leads calendar. So if you want to go and edit the availability and what happens inside the calendar, again, I've got information on how to set up your calendar on the Facebook page, or on the Facebook group rather. So I encourage you to go and join the Facebook group and learn how to use the calendar. So you would just click on edit, and you can edit the Google integration, as well as the timings and availability, and what happens in terms of what happens when someone submits the calendar. Templates, this is a email or SMS templates that you can build, and that would relate to any emails that you're sending out that you might want to have some templated messages. So you can build that out here too. Custom fields. Okay, wait. Okay, so custom fields are, let's give it a second to load up. These are fields that you could have created for yourself on your forms. So you will get a bunch that already are pre-based because we've got all the forms already built for you, and on the campaigns are already there. You'll see there's a number of custom fields that are already in this account. If you'd like to create a new one, you can do it on the form builder or the survey builder, or you could come up here and make them here yourself too. So just to go over them quickly, text is if you want someone to enter a text field. If you want someone to explain a little bit more in detail. Numerical if you want to choose number values. Phone is obvious, as is monetary. Check boxes if you want people to check certain aspects of something. Single options, it'll be a drop down with the options already given to them, and they can only choose one. Same thing applies on multiple options, except that they can choose more than one. Radio is like a Boolean, so it's a yes, no, or consent, yes, no. A date field, a text box list. So this would be basically a text box with a list of information. So it could be like a long sort of explanation. And then a file upload and a signature. This is huge for you if you're using it for an application. So you can get people to upload copies of their IDs, pictures, photos, whatever it might be. You can tell the system how many images they're allowed to upload. So if I show you the file upload feature quickly, you'll see you can choose format. So you would name the field, for example, upload your ID. And then it would be assigned to the contact. You can choose the kind of fields or the acceptable format. It can be a PDF and potentially only a PDF if it's an ID, or you can choose to select any or all. Allow multiple fields. You can choose the number of maximum allowed. So if you only want one, you can just choose one. Oops. You can just choose one, or as many as you'd like. And then that will be saved in the fields too. Facebook form field mapping. If you're running Facebook ads and you've got your account linked to Facebook, your forms will be exactly. So there's no Facebook page associated. Your Facebook forms live here. If you want to go and see what the custom values are. So to explain a custom value, This is something that you would use in an email or an SMS and not have to retype things the whole time. You could come and actually customize it at the top here. So every email that has the custom value of price range would display that value. So if the price range is, it would display this value. Suburb list, you can edit your suburb list that you opt in. So this relates to the home list funnel. And the valuation appointment calendar, this would normally be thank you for claiming your, and then the custom value, and then the value would actually be appointment valuation appointment calendar, or book in our custom values appointment value calendar, and then you would put the link to the calendar there. So I hope that makes sense. Domains. So in the beginning, you would need to select a domain. So normally I would add my domain to help you build funnels quickly. But once you've got your DNS pointing in the correct place, remember you're going to create a CNAME record. I suggest create something like funnels or campaigns dot agency name.co.za or whatever your extension is. And then make sure that you point that name that gets created in the DNS records to flash.funnels.messagesender.com. You can add C code here too, should you want to, but you wouldn't necessarily need to. So once that's created, your domain has been created, we can link them up in here. And tags, self-explanatory, create your tags here. And SMTP, if you don't want to use the Mailgun service, which we use, you can come in and add a service and just follow the prompts. So as a default, you get property funnels as your, sorry, there was a truck going past. So as a default, you get property funnels as your mail sender, as the bridge. And we can also add a forwarding address. So every email can be forwarded that comes out of the system can be forwarded to the owner, and then also forwarded to the assigned user. So it's to the owner as well as whoever's assigned to that lead. So I think that covers just about everything in terms of setting up and getting to know your property funnels account. I hope this helps. Please let me know if there's anything that is unclear. If you've got any questions at any time, click on the support button here, WhatsApp David, or just phone me if you've got my phone number. So that concludes this training. I hope you have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.